So it's a matter of education, immaturity. People are not educated, they are not mature as to how to. Look at our streets, why do you go to temple? Ketlo kacharo nakhyo hai. People just spit anywhere and everywhere, you know. Why is it? Because they are not educated.
And look at
not culture.
Baps, not temples, but they across the world, wherever you go, absolutely clean.
But you see, the moment the crowds come, it is very difficult to
manage it. That's true. It is
Our temples are visited by hundreds
thousands
of
people.
people. So it is difficult to...
It is.
I have a question about scriptures. So we have scriptures that we have in Hinduism, and we have a wide variety of Upanishads. I don't know how to pronounce it. The Gita,
Upanishad.
the Gita, Ramayana, and everything. But those were written by people who lived maybe 100,000 years ago, right? So, and this is I see in every religion, not only in ours. But if you read the scriptures for their face value, you take everything in. Things that were relevant back then are not relevant now. For example, homosexuality back in the day was people got stoned for it. They were burned in the fire just for being or for expressing that type of love. But now it's almost like the U.S. In the modern world, the Western world, it's generally like okay to be homosexual. It's okay. People don't agree with it, but it's more open, and that's shaped by society. Now, if you look at let's just say the Bible that stoned people who were homosexuals, and if you were to read people who read that, apply that directly to our society today, we know how incompatible it is. So my question is, how do we know what to believe and what not to believe when we read these scriptures? How do we apply it to our society today?
See, the scriptures have two dimensions. One is they deal with the eternal truth. Other is how to put the truth into practice. So as far as eternal values are concerned, they don't change, and they're as valid today as they were 10,000 years ago. As far as practices are concerned, they always have to change. So we have two kinds of texts, Shruti and Smriti. Shruti means Veda.
Oh.
You live those things in life. That Smriti always is based on the current time and social conditions. And Smritis must change as the time changes. So that way, we do not go to Manusmriti that was written 5,000 years ago. That Smriti will describe the laws as they were applicable under that condition, those conditions of society, social conditions, historical, geographical conditions. But we don't go by that. So there is always reforming constantly taking place. And new Smritis come. So we have 18 Smritis. In different parts of the country, different Smritis are applicable. At different times, different Smritis are applicable. And so, as far as Hinduism is concerned, just because Vedas said this, therefore literally you do that, we don't do that. We always see whether it is relevant under these conditions. Homosexuality may be a matter of debate, and therefore that may not be a simple matter. But many things are, and the reformers have come from time to time. And they always change. Even Shankaracharya changed the way you perform pujas. There was a way of performing pujas which involves some violence, etc. He changed them. How? So reformers come from time to time and bring about a change in the practices. The basic principles remain the same. Practices need to always change.
Okay. As a follow-up to that, you said that we have a set of criteria that we know are eternal. Like we live by certain principles that are expressed in our Hindu scriptures. Like, be caring, like love and everything like that. Some of them are grayed out. There's some that are not that concrete. And my question is, if, let's say you have, time is eternal, right? So if you let's say go maybe 1,000 years into the future, how can we know? How is it guaranteed that something that we think is so surefire right now will be as relevant in the future. So how, like the principles that we consider right now to be completely correct, 100% true, just like back then they might have considered science to be evil and the origin of the devil, and now we consider science progressionist. How do we know that the principles that we consider and we hold dear right now to be relevant in the future? How do we know that this is the right thing? Or do we just take that as
certain things don't change. That I was hungry 10,000 years ago, there was hunger and thirst. What I ate 10,000 years ago is different from what I eat today. So that changes. The fact that there is hunger is a constant factor. What you do to appease hunger changes. That there was thirst. That human being always had this problem, sadness, unhappiness. He wanted always to be happy. So human being always wants to be happy, wants to be free. That has not changed. He finds himself unhappy, wants to be happy. So solution that was provided is a fundamental problem. These things do not change. And solutions provided to fundamental problems also remain fundamental.
Okay.
Right.
Of always
Good.
projecting
Correct.
Egyptians and Greek people, as great people,
Right.
always putting down, because the Westerns always thought, that the Hindus are inferior people, Indians are inferior people, this king, etc. So
It is
that also is
political.
there. Oh,
Yeah,
yes, there
it
is
is
some
biased.
Very
political,
political bias.
some political bias.
Yeah.
There. Kind of a level of scientists and people whose words will be counted by the world,
Right.
whereas Western world has produced them.
Yeah.
So what they say counts. What you and I said does not count.
And I think this is just in reference to that. There was some talk about that during the Second World War, German were one of the great scholars of Sanskrit. In Germany, there were Sanskrit university, and people in Germany, they used to learn, and I think Bhattubhai can provide more sort of insight about that they know Sanskrit so well, they studied the Hindu scripture in detail, and some of this invention or discovery, whatever we call it, is basically derived from our Hindu scripture and put it in their perspective. I don't know how far it is true.
I don't know that also. But the thing is that German scholars, yes, many of them did not even come to India,
Right.
but they studied in depth
Yeah.
the Vedic scriptures,
Yes, yeah.
and they were highly impressed, and so they continued to work on that to such an extent that our own scholars would refer to German scholars,
Yeah.
as authorities. Yeah.
That's right. Which is again going back to the ancient roots.
In Germany, there is a place called Heidelberg.
Right.
It's like head of the. A lot of universities are there, and I used to go quite a lot of time.
Similarly to number of children.
Did you make
Panini.
that video? Did you
Panini, meaning all the
Yeah.
4,000
That's
sutras,
right.
all these children are,
YouTube video.
Yeah.
You saw that?
કેટલા
recently?
નાના છોકરાઓ સંસ્કૃતના શ્લોકો કેટલા
Reciting.
સરસ બોલે છે.
Yeah.
But this is there since many years.
That's many years, yeah. In
Buckingham
So
Palace
that
માં.
way Sanskrit has always attracted the attention of people who really were genuine. They didn't have a political agenda.
Sure.
So those who are open-minded, the Sanskrit has always attracted their attention. So when the open-minded scholars came, they came to India also, and remaining in Germany or in England also, they did a lot of research work. All India Movement for Seva. And many disciples of Puja Swamiji are all working, and one of the important projects is called Chhatralaya, means hostel. Free Students Home, that's what it's called.
Hello.
FSG, Free Student Home.
સુલભા. Hello.
Jo Sulabha.
સ્વામીજી છે વાત કર.
So did you know each other since some time?
Yeah.
Since how long?
Like 3.5 years.
Yeah. It's good, very good. That's an advantage. When you begin your relationship, that you know each other, you like each other, it's a big advantage. But that's not the end point, that's the starting point. Meaning that a relationship requires a lot of investment of time, energy, emotions, commitment to maintain it and to nourish it, nurture it and make it grow. So there must be a commitment. The most important thing is commitment on the part of both. That we want to make this relationship successful. Obstacles always come. No relationship is free from obstacles. Even if you know for 10 years, then also, because it's one thing that you know each other as friends. It's another thing when you live together. Then you get exposed to many aspects which you formerly did not know. આ તો બધા અરેન્જ મેરેજ વાળા છે એટલે એમને તો સવાલ જ નથી. They always began from the beginning.
Yes, right.
But even for those who so-called love marriage, so when you are meeting as friends, you are exposed to some aspects of each other. When you live together, then you know each other much more in depth. And that time things may not be as rosy as otherwise they were. So at that time, important thing is commitment on the part of both. People don't have commitment. So they are there as long as it is convenient, otherwise, you let go. So today, that's how the situation has become. People don't get married. They don't live together. They don't make commitment. So many people, they live together, but they don't get married. Now another trend is that there is an engagement. Then they live together for 1 year, at least, and then get married. So during that 1 year, they check out each other. And if things work out, then we get married, otherwise we don't get married. This is not the way to live life, because life, even after 1 year, its mind keeps changing, people keep changing. And if you think that I will maintain relationship if everything is all right, that may or may not work. So you have to make it work. That requires investment. Your emotion, your time, your energy, your care, your nurturing, your nourishing. So just as a little plant requires a lot of care, nurturing, nourishing. So relationship requires that. Like a gardener has to do that. So you can't expect the plant to grow by itself. It will grow wildly. Who knows how it will grow? Whether it will grow or not. Some plant need less water. Some plant need sunlight. Some plant need less sunlight. No plant is the same. So rule that applies here may not apply there. Everything is unique. Every relationship is unique. And so we have to work it out. It's a serious matter.
Very serious.
It's a lifetime commitment. And we should look upon that as a lifetime commitment, not a convenient commitment. Because when something breaks, it's very heartbreaking. Yes. And it's very traumatic.
Swamiji, Urjit has some question.
Or you're the passenger in the car, and I find myself thinking about what to even think about at that moment. You know what I mean? You're searching for a thought. What could that mean? I don't know. I find myself contemplating what it could mean for the person, the individual's personality. It's a hard question to answer. I know.
It's an interesting question because usually thinking takes place. You don't think.
Exactly. That's why.
Usually the thoughts keep on going in your mind, so the question of what to think about doesn't come because thinking is taking place.
Yeah.
So you can ask this question that my mind thinks in a certain way. How should I guide that thinking? So even if you don't do anything, the mind will keep on thinking anyway.
Yeah.
So then we have to decide what is important for me and engage your mind in thinking about something which is important to you, something that you want to learn, something that you want to do, something,
Yeah.
I think he has a deep down desire to be a millionaire.
No, no.
Let me just give you some
Brother,
brief
that's
background about
Everyone
it.
has that.
And
Yeah,
it's fine. I think I just
Your objective is not to become a millionaire. Objective is to contribute something. If million comes as a consequence, well and good. Your focus should be not what the outcome is. Your focus should be on what you want to contribute. Then you can be a successful person because you contributed. Whether it created $1 million, if you, success need not measured on that, on the outcome. Success we measured on your input. And therefore, now don't think about $1 million. Think about what is it that you can create. Something innovative, something creative. And therefore think on that direction. You have certain talents, you have certain background, scientific background. Based on that, in which direction you can contribute something.
Is it a problem if you're thinking about what to think about sometimes? Like let's say, like as I said before, like if you're thinking about what you should be thinking about, is that a problem? Is that a cause?
It's not a problem. It's a solution, not a problem.
Not a problem.
Because you are aware that you are thinking, and you see the need of thinking something which is meaningful, and rather than just meaningless thinking.
Right.
So that's good. That you want to think meaningfully.
Thank you.
But coming back to what your father said, is let the goal not be becoming a millionaire, let the goal be of becoming a contributor. That what innovative thing I can do, what I can contribute for the betterment of the society. Even a small thing I can contribute. Let that be the goal. And work on that. Whether that brings million or not should not be important. But that you can contribute something is important.
And I think this has been a discussion between both of us. I always tell him that you think about how you can help million people, and when you think about helping million people by something, even if those million people give you $1, you'll be a millionaire. But he always said that no, as a businessman you have to be selfish and you have to think about you. And I think this has been going on between the both of us, and we tried to argue on different level. I said, look at the Tata.
See, what is in your control? The thing is, what you control and what you do not control. The basic rule is that you control your efforts. The outcome is not in your control. So you have the objective of becoming a millionaire. Okay, we don't grudge that. For becoming a millionaire, this is what you should do. I have a scheme. For that, you must contribute this. Having decided, then now focus attention on contribution. Other things will take care. Have a plan. How to become a millionaire? For which what you should do? What kind of thing you should contribute? Having arrived at that, now focus attention on what your effort is. An outcome will take care of itself.
Swami, basically there are a lot of kids here because I've been there with your lectures and stuff like that. But if you can expand on the consumer and the contributors, I think these guys will get a lot of information because we've gone through, and I'm actually very influenced by that to understand exact part of or the examples that you've given makes a lot of sense and stuff like that. So I think there are a lot of kids here, who haven't attended. So if you can just expand on the consumer and contributor, part.
In a way, that's what I was telling him. That, as we said earlier, how do you become happy? By distributing happiness. So he is a contributor who distributes happiness or contributes into the happiness or comfort or well-being of something or somebody. So our goal should be in what way I can be useful. Because real happiness comes in being useful. It is our experience that even when we do a small act of kindness, gives a great satisfaction. And therefore, the goal should be, with the talents that I have, with whatever I have been given by the society, by God, by parents, and by all of that, in terms of our intelligence, in terms of our knowledge, in terms of our skill, whatever you have, how can I best use that resource in being helpful to others? Because this happiness that will give cannot be matched by $1 million also. You get $1 million, that fascination will remain for 6 months. You get used to it, okay. So I'm a millionaire, so what's the big deal now? So now I want to be multi-millionaire. So you have that. Those things, as I said earlier, they can give us only a temporary satisfaction. But being an offerer, a giver, a contributor can give you a lasting satisfaction. And that's what Bhagavad Gita teaches. Not be a grabber, be a giver. Meaning, don't become a self-centered person and always looking for your personal agenda. Because more you satisfy that self-centered attitude, more demanding it becomes. It's never end. Self-centeredness has no end. Like fire, you put butter in the fire, it keeps on demanding more and more. You're always chasing. Being a contributor has an immediate satisfaction. It gives you an inner contentment and makes you a better and better person. So success in life is based on how much you contributed and not how much you consume. There are many billionaires and the miserable people. They don't have to be miserable. There are many of them are miserable because they have never thought of anything more than consumption. And how much can you consume? Your stomach is limited, your mind is limited, your body is limited, how much can you listen, how many movies can you watch, how much music can you listen, what can you do? There is a limit to what you can consume. No limit to what you can give. So if you adopt that track in life, path is open for it. You get quickly bored by merely consuming. As long as you don't have something, so long it looks attractive. When you have it, you get used to it. Now what next? So,
there is this philosophy that every action that we do is rooted in selfishness. So, like you were talking about giving to somebody. So, let's say I was to go give alms to a poor person, and I would give the clothes off my back, and you would feel satisfaction for having done something for somebody else because you know that you're in a better position than them. But what I've heard is that it's all rooted, your actions is rooted in selfishness, in that you give for yourself to be happy. Would you consider that selfish?
there are two kinds of selfishness. An enlightened selfishness and an ignorant selfishness. So selfishness is involved even in helping. That's enlightened selfishness because you grow by that. In consuming, there is that selfishness, stark selfishness, by which you remain a consumer only, you remain a beggar.
It's make greedy.
So selfishness is there. Sattvic selfishness. In Vedanta, Sattvic, Rajas, Tamas. So Sattvic selfishness makes you happy and makes others also happy.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing if you look at it. That sort of enlightened selfishness won't be negative, right?
That is fine. Someday that also will go. But it's good to have that instead of the other one.
Yes, because that's a start. Because
I think persistent practice, I think then it
Things outside of the earth. You know, I feel like at the beginning, when the foundations were being built of our religion, our focus was on everything that happened on our planet as a whole. But now we know so much about what is out there, you know, galaxies, more than like grains of sand. Everything you see is a galaxy and stars, and the potential is so vast out there, you know. Do we have any views on what could be out there, and if there is something out there, how would it change our views, or if it would not at all?
Depending on what kind of view you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If your view is in terms of the truth or reality, what is out there doesn't change it. If your view is in terms of creating wealth and stuff like that, it may change. So we had both these things, both the elements, both the aspects were there. One aspect is fundamental, that does not change. Other is variable, that will change depending upon what you learn about outside world.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore you should keep growing along with your information or along with your newfound understanding. But it doesn't change the fundamental truths. What is out there does not change any fundamental principles. That you should be truthful, you should be honest, doesn't change.
That's true.
But isn't it our stories, scriptures also go into the space, and they say we have 3 worlds or 7 worlds, where basically, you know, you have life over there. You know, that kind of theory is still existing, and you heard about that, right? So I believe your question was that, right? Whether we have life outside.
But that may be called a speculation, you know. They talk of 14 worlds.
Yeah.
7 up and 7 down. They are all talked about, no doubt about that. But whether that matches with what the present discoveries are or not, may be a matter of debate, you know. So yeah, there is a concept of what is out there. Lots of discussions are there. The world of moon, the world of sun, and the world beyond that also, descriptions are there.
That's right.
All kinds of realms, Brahmaloka, etc. So, a lot of descriptions are there. What is out there. And at one point in time, the goal used to be able to reach that world. So when you are on this earth, conduct yourself in such a manner that you qualify to go there, where you have boundless pleasure. So this kind of thinking was always there, gaining that pleasure, boundless pleasure. But then there was another thinking which dismissed that also. As long as you are seeking pleasure outside, it's going to be limited, regardless of whether it's here or there. And so discover the joy from your own self.
I have another one. Many people talk about the conflict that religion and science have. You know, how many things in science disprove many things that most people believe in, or not most people believe in, or some of the things that religions talk about. Not specifically ours, it can be others also. But what they've also talked about is that the fundamentals of every religion that don't involve science, like the belief in something higher or greater than you, are the things that will last in a religion. But it is the things that have a physical property or a physical nature that is like involved with a scientific property. Those things are what some would say like overreaching for a religion. You know, things that can change based on what we know about science. Do you feel like there's a lot of that in our religion specifically, where there are conflicts with science, or that there are not? Do you feel like there are a lot?
We do not see any conflict with science.
No.
Basically, science and religion are different fields.
Exactly.
Religion focuses upon the self, and science focuses upon the world. So they are looking at different things anyway. So there need not be conflict because, So religion talks about the other world and things like that, by the way. So by the way, we say the earth is flat, earth is round, etc.
Yeah.
But that does not change the fact, the fundamental truth. If that changes, that the truth is one, that there is unity in diversity, that principle does not change the earth is flat or round, meaning that those kind of beliefs can be proven to be incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
but they are not of any consequence. So what the religion basically focuses attention is different from what science focuses attention on.
Mm-hmm.
And the methods are also different.
But I feel like that's a positive aspect of our religion. Because if you would look at, let's say, Christianity as a whole, there are many things that they firmly believe that are opposing scientific values, like creationism and evolution. There are many people that will deny that evolution is just a ploy or whatever. You know?
So they want to take Bible for its on its face value by its word.
Mm-hmm.
We don't insist upon that.
Exactly.
They say that changing aspect, then we are willing to go along with what the changes are. There is a fundamental aspect that does not change. So whether there is creation or not creation, whether evolution is of no consequences to us.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of
Because
the
that
important
you are limitless doesn't change whether your body is evolved one way or the other. So we have never paid attention to that. It's stupidity to hold on to these kind of things. The earth is flat or earth is round and that earth is rotating or sun is rotating. Why hold on to we never hold on to those kind of things. We also believe the earth was the center of the universe and the whole universe is going around. These things are different. Okay, that's fine. But that doesn't change the fact that there is still one principle holding everything together.
I have a question. Let's say in the near future we find a new Earth, right? A whole new Earth, a whole new planet that can sustain life, and there actually is life there, human beings. Would that have a huge impact or change in our religion, like our beliefs? Would that change our whole system in any way, or no?
I don't think so, because we always believed that there is life elsewhere.
Yeah.
We talk of 7 heavens, so we talk of life everywhere. So there are descriptions of the world of moon and world of Gandharvas and world of Devatas and what kind of people are there and what kind of objects are there, etc. Meaning that that there is life elsewhere does not in any way.
But these are all beliefs, right? Now it's a fact. Like if it's a fact, will it change?
Doesn't matter.
No?
That there is, that means that population instead of 7 billion there will be 8, 9 billion or something like that.
Yeah.
Other than that, doesn't make any change.
Following up on what he said, do you think the presence of whole new religions on this new planet, right, would it diminish or enhance the religions that we have on our planet? Would seeing another people on another planet have different religions with different gods affect the way we believe in ours, or how strongly we would believe in ours? Because at the end of the day, it would feel like these are just different things that have happened to different people in different places. If we encountered something like that. Or would it just be, as you said, the core values would always stay the same, which is fundamental to, I feel, most and if not every religion.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, everything else would just become, in a way, a parable. A story that you take meanings out of. Would that
Depends
be
on what you call religion,
Yeah.
If you confine our religion to the fundamental values, to a Hindu it does not matter whether you are Christian or a Muslim, or as long as you follow those values, you can achieve the same goal, moksha. For a Christian, that's not the case. You cannot go to paradise if you are not a Christian. For a Muslim also, that's not the case.
Yeah.
For Hindu, on the other hand, it doesn't matter. You can be anybody. You follow these values and these things, you achieve the same goal as anybody else. So if you're open, if there is a whole new religion, it will be nice. If there is something to learn from that, we will learn from that. If there is something to we'll grow. That is our attitude. So Hindus have looked at Christianity and learned from that, or Islam and learned from that, at least enlightened Hindus.
I feel like many people are in a way learning from the ability to change of our religion. I feel like a few months back, the new Pope, he put out a statement where he changed many of the things that were fundamental beliefs of Christians on a mass level, where everyone had to believe these new changes that he created, which was, quite frankly, a new thing that many people have never
that
seen
was very
or heard.
bold.
Yeah,
Very bold.
it was very bold. But I feel like that's the trend of accepting new information and changing.
Yeah, learn from that and grow with
Yeah.
that. That should be that openness should be there.
Yeah.